What is up, boys? It is Friday. There's a date today. The May 31st. And you know what Fridays are? Fridays are deadlift days. We've got our transitionary deadlift day from the deficit deadlifts. I don't know if it's going to be one day or multiple weeks coinciding into a pattern where we do both deficits and deadlifts from the floor. But we've done about 10 weeks of deficit deadlifts, working on grip strength, working on speed off the floor, working on literally everything, getting into starting positions and whatnot. And we've seen some definite progress going on there. Going forward, we got to pull from the floor because, I mean, we're powerlifters. We got to pull from the floor. And anyone who would rather pull deficit deadlifts over regular deadlifts are the same people who would rather masturbate with sandpaper. Lemon juice is lube, of course, because maximum pain means maximum pleasure. I heard a trainee say that in a porn once. No, what she actually said was there's no difference between pain and pleasure. There's just sensation. So, I mean, it's the same thing. But we had a little bit of a rough consecutive days where we have been thrown off of our regular routine. So, in order to try and recoup some of the negatives that we acquired during that time, we are also not being in our regular routine, but we're only doing things that will positively affect our mentality. So it's about 11:30. I got off to a late start because the continuation of the things that are causing my consecutive negative days is still ongoing. And there appears to be no end to it. So we've got to kind of pick and choose what we're doing in order to help us get through the odyssey of whatever's going on with us. So it's 11:30-ish. We are going to start the day off. And we're not going to be rushing anything whatsoever. We're going to take our time. And we're going to start the day off with some Uber Eats, get some money in our pocket so that we don't feel negative about being in the red every single day. And we're going to make sure if we do purchase anything today, because we do have to go to the store and we have to pick up some ground beef for the rest of my week, as well as some milk, and I'll have to check sauerkraut as well. I'll have to check the rest of my levels of food to make sure that we're getting ourselves off to a good start. So we've got to be done with this because we have a appointment that doesn't pay us and actually is a detriment to our mentality at around 3:30, maybe 4:30. Never really know until it's like I've already stopped doing what I'm doing and they tell me that I have more time and I'm like, well, I've already stopped, but okay. So the goal, other than try and make more than we spend today, is to make over $10 an hour. Uber Eats is super inconsistent with how much you make every single day. So that's our first goal of the day. Additionally, we've got deadlifts tonight. We're going to be deadlifting at Free State Barbell at the busy time. Busy times are Monday, Wednesday, Friday from about 7 p.m. onwards. So we've got that going for us. There's going to be a lot of people there. We're going to be able to converse and socialize a little bit because we've been isolated from humanity for a hot minute here. And so starting the day off with Uber Eats, I don't necessarily have the ability to follow my nutrition plan to a T, which, I mean, yeah, we got to take baby steps towards taking back our regular schedule. So we're going to start off the day with a breakfast sandwich and a coffee, and that's going to be about $10 at Dunkin'. So as long as we make over $10 in our Uber Eats experience adventure, then we're doing good and we're sitting fat and happy. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'll give you the smallest snippets of my I will get random thoughts and I'll share them with you as I go through this Uber Eats experience. So I'll see you guys sporadically. You know what's funny? The first sip of coffee in the morning has probably made more women climax than any man has ever. Boys, bring a diagram. Step your game up. Is Cumberland Farms super popular because you get to say, hey, I'm going to go on a cum run, and then everyone giggles? I'm going to take a dump in the cum bucket. The ambiance in this bathroom is unparalleled. Probably give it 7 out of 10. So we're done with the Uber Eats for today, and we made about $34 in from 11:30 till 3:20, which, so 3:20 would be, so just that'd be about 3 hours, so just over $10 an hour. We hit that goal, but we wanted at least $50 today in our pocket. So and it's not, we were driving constantly. We actually didn't have any downtime. A lot of Uber Eats drivers have an acceptance rate of about 5%, because they have a general rule of thumb that basically says if it's not $6 or more, or if it's not $1 per mile, they don't accept it. And I'm a little skeptical about that, because they're like, they can't punish you for not accepting, because the Uber Eats drivers are contractors. And I'm like, there's got to be some sort of benefit to having a high acceptance rate, low cancellation rate, high acceptance rate, high satisfaction rate. There's got to be some sort of incentive there. And I feel like it's orders getting sent to you, but I'm not completely sure whether it's it could just be lower quality of orders getting sent to you, and they're just taking advantage of drivers who take pride in their acceptance rate or something like that. I don't know the exact breakdown, but I like to have a high acceptance rate because I don't like just sitting around waiting for a good thing to come in, because a penny in the pocket's better than waiting around, or whatever the saying is. But done with that for the day. So we're going to eat we're gonna do our free Uber duties, and then we're gonna eat our pre-training meal, go train, and then we've got a call with my coach and nutritionist team later tonight, and that's going to be an informal conversation, just because they do more than just coach. When you coach full time, you get more invested into your clients' goals, because if you look at it as a business perspective, how successful your clients are reflects back on yourself. So if your clients are not successful, that reflects back on yourself. If your clients are not following the program, not doing this, not doing that, and they come back and they're just like, oh, it was my coach's fault. Or if you start doing stuff that's not on the plan and you end up putting yourself at risk, getting injured, something like that, that reflects poorly on them. But it's the way that my coach and nutritionist go about it. It's not like, hey, you're an asset to my business. You have to do well so that my business does well. They don't approach it like that. They're like, hey, I understand you hired me, but you're more than just a dollar amount to me. I see you more as maybe a friend. Doesn't really cut it. There's a reason I call my nutritionist mom, and every time that they post something, anytime she posts something, I say, that's my mom, or whenever Joe posts something, I'm like, that's my dad, because it's almost like a familial bond, where it's like, yeah, she's only a month older than me, but there's this almost like maternal role where it's like, yes, I'm giving you a nutrition plan, but also there's more to it. You've got to be mentally good too. So we got to make sure that you're mentally healthy as well, because if you're not mentally healthy, it's going to be harder to stick to this nutrition plan that we've painstakingly put together for you. And it's going to be harder for you to perform on the platform. It's going to be harder. So it's like, they take care, they make sure that I'm in the best position, not just physically or nutritionally, but also mentally, and make sure that I have healthy social structures available, healthy support systems available to me. They are part of my support system because they make sure that I'm good to go. But I got that call with them later today. I don't know exactly what it is. It's almost like one of those, we need to talk, but also, you know, it's like, we need to talk because we're concerned. Where it's like, okay, I know there's going to be solutions coming up, and we're going to talk. It's going to get deep. It's going to get emotional, whatnot. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm not too nervous about it. But yeah. Anyways, I'm in this parking lot to pick up a human. All right, boys, we've got 200 grams of Fruity Pebbles. There's supposed to be 16 ounces of fat-free Fairlife milk, but I only had 10 ounces. So it's going to be a little dry at the end. And we got some Delicious and Dungeon for our eating entertainment. And also there's Zelda. What's up, Zelda? Yeah. Okay. Boys, I don't think you understand just how excited I am for this deadlift day. It's not that this deadlift day in particular is going to be enjoyable. It's what's to come after that's going to be enjoyable. Because we've got a 3x3 at 555 for a deficit deadlift, 2-inch deficit deadlift, 2 mats basically. And then we've got a 10x1 495 deadlift. 60 seconds rest, which means I don't actually look at the clock, and I just go whenever I basically put the bar down, I re-chalk, I take a sip of water, and I go back into the jungle, right? And then what this means we are transitioning back to deadlifting from the floor, because deficit deadlifts is something that I would rather disembowel myself with a wooden cooking spoon. I would rather shove a pineapple in my own asshole. The spiky part up goes in easy, comes out hard. That's how I feel about deficit deadlifts. But I am feeling like they're definitely working very well for me, and I'm getting a lot of progress from them. So we're making good progress. And then we've got I didn't even look at the accessories. I was just really excited to see that, because it's a indicator that we're progressing in the program. So something told me I had something more to say, but that's really it. It's about 5:15, so we're going to the gym. We're going to get there at about like 5:30, which is usually around the time where a lot of the other regulars start to filter in. So we put on some fresh deodorant because we've been out and about all day doing the Uber Eats, getting some money in our pockets. And by some, I mean not really that much. And yeah, so I'll be surrounded by people, and it will be an opportunity for me to be a human, because I haven't been a human in a long, hot minute. So it's hot in this car. I don't have the AC running. I'm gonna put the windows down, but if I put the windows down, then the audio of this video goes to doo-doo. So I'll see you guys at the gym when I'm lifting. Boys, we had a deadlift day of all deadlift days. Not really, that's being over dramatic, but it was still a good deadlift day. And we deadlifted, it was good. And we deadlifted from a deficit, it was also good. So we started off the day with the thoracic spine extended dumbbell chest supported rows. That's a mouthful, and that's nothing anyone's ever told me before. But felt, I mean, it's a pre-fatigue work. Well, not pre-fatigue, but it's a warm-up, trying to get blood flow to the lats, as well as getting a little bit of the thoracic spine extension, the muscles that go into that, and keeping you erect during the deadlift kind of activated and ready to take on a load like your mom takes on loads every weekend. So that was good. I mean, general plug and play with the 70s, not too heavy, not too hard, and 90 seconds rest on those. And then we got into the cream of the crop, the meat within the potatoes, if you're eating a shepherd's pie here. And it was deficit deadlifts, two mat deficit deadlifts. It's about 2 inches. I will say it's 2 inches. I'm not going to add a third mat on there because that's over 2 inches. It's as close as we can get. The deadlift platform is weird. So this deadlift platform, my gym's trying something new with it, and they put moving pads under the deadlift platform, and it made it a little squishier. And I didn't really like that, but it was the only deadlift platform that was available. The other two were getting used by other people. And I mean, you take what you can get. Someone ended up deadlifting in front of me as well, not on a deadlift platform, because there were more than just 3 people deadlifting today. And you got to do what you got to do. And so the deficit deadlifts, 3x3, 555 pounds, felt really good. It was one of those days where it's like you're doing it and you're like, it's gonna be hard, but it's doable. You don't have any thought of a risk of failure going on. You're like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it. It's just a matter of how much I'm gonna complain about it. And if you are disciplined, unlike me, you're gonna complain about it 0, and I'm gonna complain about it a little bit. So deficit deadlifts. Let's talk about deficit deadlifts for a bit. Fat people suck at deadlifts. That is a fact. If you look at the bell curve of athletes who are good at deadlifting, generally athletes above 300 pounds are not super good at deadlifts. And then there's some of these white horses out here, such as Dan Bell and Jesus Oliveras, who are magically good at deadlifts. But for the most case, you look at the active deadlifters out there in the super heavyweight, there's Craig Foster, who and myself, who are not super good at deadlifts, and we are both round. So deadlift is very leverage based, and to get better at deadlifts, what I have done to add about 100 pounds to my deadlift is I lost 60 pounds, and I'm changing my body composition to gain back. I went from 387. I'm trying to go back up to about 350s. So I'm trying to get back about 20 pounds of that. And it's kind of funny. I'm like, oh, I weighed in today and I'm a little light, so deadlifts are going to be a little bit easier today. Oh, I weighed in and I'm a little heavy, so squats are going to be a little easier today. It's kind of how that goes. You see a lot of times when super heavyweight athletes get fed up of just being fat and uncomfortable all the time. They lose a bunch of weight, and their squat and their bench just absolutely get decimated. They go off into oblivion, and they never live up to the expectations of their fans ever again. And it's kind of sad to see, and I was afraid that was going to happen with me, but my coach and nutrition team, Brownie, Terry, and Joe, they had me go into it, and we went really slow. We didn't go super fast. It was an over-year process to lose 60 pounds because we didn't want to be losing muscle mass, and we didn't want to decrease our total. It was about an 18-month process to get down to 328, and it increased my total at the American Pro, and we're trying to bulk back up because my total did drop a little going into. I had my first 2,200 total at the Ghost Clash, but it was my first sleeves meet too, so I mean, to be expected that you're going to have a bad squat. You're going to lose a couple 100 pounds there, but excuses. So deficit deadlifts is like, hey, you're a fat guy who struggles to get down to the bar. Let's make it even harder to get down to the bar. So deficit deadlifts, not my friend, but it builds character. Purple knees build character, so squatting with wraps is cooler than squatting in sleeves. So deficit deadlifts build character, so I guess it's cool. I'm just not cool enough to enjoy them like your mom enjoys things. Anyways, so 3x3, it was pretty good. I didn't have any where I was just like, that didn't feel good. When I say that didn't feel good, I'm talking about it's not, that didn't feel good, that hurt, I'm at risk of injury. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like, I'm so in tuned with how my form is supposed to be that it's like, something was off a little bit, something was not tight enough, but it still moved and it still looked good, but it didn't feel like it moved the way that it should have. That's what I mean. It didn't feel good. Like it almost got off the rails. Like if a deadlift was a train, it got off the rails and it didn't feel like it was chugging along on the rail track. Or how was it? Was it there's a word for it bench stroke, no, bar path. That's what I'm looking for. If the bar path gets out of whack, you can feel it. You know what I mean? You can feel the bar path when it's not where it should be. And when it is clicking, you're like, whoa, I feel like I'm cheating. Did I actually do that correctly? So, good. And then we got into the 10x1. It was programmed 495, but we're using kiloplate, so we did 496 because that's just how the cookie crumbles. The cookie crumbles and the milk gets a little tastier. That's how it goes. So the 10x1, 60 seconds rest. I hate measuring time when it's just that short. Like when it's 30 seconds rest, or that I have programmed on some of my bicep curls is a 30-second rest. I kind of just put the dumbbells down. I take a sip of water and go back in. And with deadlifts, when it's a 60-second rest, I kind of do the same thing, except sometimes I need to put chalk on sometimes. So averages out to less than 60 seconds. I know that in between reps 5 and 6, I took longer than 60 seconds because I wanted to move my water bottle, my shaker cup, which was full of Crystal Light, creatine, and Gatorade kind of mixture. It was brown, which was kind of a concerning color, but it is what it is. But I took a little extra time because I also reapplied chalk. I didn't reapply chalk at all, so except for that one time, I believe. Or I'm struggling to remember how it went. All I know is by the end, I was surprisingly gassed. Because I've had these 10x1 deadlift days before, and they're usually pretty good. They're pretty, like, I'm good, and I'm still pulling strong, and my form might even get better as I chug along. But it felt like as I chugged along that the volume from the 555 deficit deadlifts kind of caught up to me a little bit, and that was a little disconcerting and a little surprising to me, because usually when I'm doing the 10x1s, it's not like that. But it was this time, and I'm a little concerned with my athletic ability, my cardiovascular health at this point, because usually we've got a 5th day which has a 5th day that has a bit of cardio on it, and we haven't had that 5th day in training for a hot minute. And I'm starting to kind of do it on my own. It's not technically going off program. It's just I want my resting heart rate to be lower than it is. It's somewhere between 65 and 67 consistently every day. My HRV is pretty good. My breathing rate is pretty good as well. I'm just a little concerned with my resting heart rate because this time last training prep, it was at like 57. And I know my life is a lot more stressful than it was back then, but I still want to push that to be a little lower so that I can be better with heavier body weight, because I am bulking up to 350s, and I want to be able to be healthy at that. I want to be healthy at 350s. Dumb statement, but it's a true statement. Not a lot of people would say that. But I felt like my form was a little bad at the latter half of that, and I was getting a little gassed quicker, and I need to do a little bit more for that cardio recovery on my rest days, and kind of have that hangover cure of motion is lotion going on there. And then we moved on to the actually people started coming in the gym, and there was a little bit of socialization going on there. So I didn't immediately go into the prone adductions, into the prone adduction superset with the goblet squat. It was just and then finished off with calves. And then I did about 30 minutes on the treadmill. I forgot to record my feet just chugging along there. And now we are home, and on my meal plan, it says you are to have a free meal after deadlifts. Your last meal of the day has to be a free meal. So we got a bag of Chinese food. We've got crab rangoons. We've got General Gao's chicken. We've got house fried rice. Google said it costs approximately $10 to $20 per person at said food establishment. It was $46. So inflation got me, but my people are asking where I am, and I'm just in my car in my parking lot because not parking lot, but in my car, parked, and I should probably make them not stress out about my existence because, I mean, you guys know how mentally stable I am, and it might be concerning people that I'm out so late because it's about 10 p.m. and I'm gonna eat this and I'm gonna take a fat sleep. I was gonna say a fat nap, but I'm actually going to sleep for the night. Anyways, I'll show you guys what I'm eating when I'm eating. Yeah. I said I was gonna show you, and then I forgot to. Empty crab rangoon. Crab rangoon. General Gao's chicken and house fried rice also on top of it. So professional.